Behind the door of a small Milwaukee apartment, the unthinkable was happening. A man, soft-spoken and polite to neighbors, was living with severed heads in his fridge, Polaroids of dismembered victims, and stories that would make even seasoned detectives tremble. His name was Jeffrey Dahmer, and his crimes? They redefined horror. From the outside, Dahmer appeared lonely, awkward, maybe even harmless. But behind closed doors, he was creating a living nightmare. Between 1978 and 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer murdered 17 young men and boys, committing acts so gruesome they shocked not just the U.S., but the entire world. Inside his apartment, authorities would discover one of the most disturbing crime scenes in FBI history. Human remains preserved in acid, skulls lined up like trophies, photographs documenting every stage of his twisted process. And in the middle of it all, Dahmer, calm and compliant, as if what he had done was routine. But how did he get here? What turned a shy boy from Ohio into the Milwaukee Cannibal? Born in 1960, Dahmer had a fascination with death from an early age. Roadkill, dissections, a growing detachment from reality. He committed his first murder at just 18, Stephen Hicks, a hitchhiker he lured home and never let leave. Over the next decade, Dahmer would battle urges he couldn't control. He drank heavily. He was arrested multiple times, yet slipped through the cracks of the system again and again. In fact, he was nearly caught in 1988 when a young boy, 14-year-old Konorak Syntha, escaped his apartment, drugged and disoriented. But when police arrived, Dahmer calmly explained that it was a lover's quarrel. The officers let the boy return to his killer. He was murdered that same night. The missed opportunities, the failure to listen to survivors, the deadly cost of indifference. It wasn't until 1991 that Dahmer was finally stopped. Another victim, Tracy Edwards, managed to escape and flag down police. What they found inside the apartment would scar them forever. Dahmer confessed to everything. His interviews were chilling, not just for what he said, but for how calmly he said it. He spoke of needing control, of wanting his victims to stay, of building shrines from their remains. In 1992, Jeffrey Dahmer was sentenced to 15 consecutive life terms. But prison would not hold him for long. Just 2 years later, in 1994, he was beaten to death by another inmate. And with that, one of the darkest chapters in American criminal history ended. But for the families of his victims, the pain never did. Jeffrey Dahmer didn't just take lives. He left behind scars that never healed, and a haunting reminder of what can happen when warning signs are ignored. This is Black Tape Diaries, where we don't just tell stories, we reveal the darkness hiding in plain sight.